Now I often get asked, what are my camera settings when I shoot wildlife? And just about all my wildlife photo walks, I will tell you what I'm using. This video is just about how I set my camera up. And I will link this video in all my wildlife photo walks, so you don't have to watch through all my settings every time I do a wildlife photo walk. How do I set up my camera? Now I shoot in manual mode, so I can adjust my shutter speed and my aperture to suit the conditions. I like shooting at f5.6. I like shooting wide open. Very rarely will I go to f8, unless it's like a group of ducks and they're very close together. Then I may increase to f8, but that's about it. I shoot in auto white balance. If I'm shooting landscapes, I like shooting in manual white balance and control my white balance for the conditions. Wildlife though, because the scene changes so much, I prefer to choose auto white balance. I shoot in JPEG and RAW. You don't have to shoot JPEG and RAW, but I shoot JPEG and RAW just because I do YouTube videos. But I edit just the RAW files. I don't edit JPEG images. I find that JPEGs, they're a finished product. So apart from cropping a JPEG image, that's all I do. My metering is set to center weighted. It's either center weighted or spot. I never shoot in matrix metering. Matrix, the camera looks at the whole frame. I don't like doing that. I like center weighted or spot. If the bird, let's say it's a crow in a tree and it's backlit, I will shoot at spot just so that I can get that bird highlighted. Doesn't matter about the background, I'll blow the background out, but at least I'll get some definition on the bird. I normally shoot in just single point. I prefer single point to any other mode. I don't like group focus. My Nikon D500 here for group focus, it's just all over the place, so I rarely use group. What I will use though sometimes is D25, so 25 points, center. If the bird moves a bit around from the center, it will still find one of those focus points. But most of the time, it's in center point. But if I'm photographing an osprey and it's coming towards me, I don't want to miss that shot, so I will shoot at D25. So I've got a couple of points around the center point where if I'm just slightly out, the camera will still focus on the osprey, so I'm not going to miss a shot. If you're using the Nikon 200 to 500mm for your wildlife photography, you have either normal mode or sports modes for VR. Some people say if you're over 1200th of a second, you should shut VR off. Well, I disagree. I have the shakes. If you watch my videos, you'll see I have constant shakes. Even at 2.5 thousandths of a second, if I don't have VR, I'm all over the place. I rarely get a sharp photo. Sometimes it might just slow the camera down a little bit, but I'd rather a sharp image than a blurry image. So that's my take on why I leave VR on sports mode. Another reason why I leave VR on sports mode is that I have found that on normal mode, when I'm focused on something and I'm pressing the shutter, it's just jumping around like this. And I'll give you an example here. Look at these photos. The first ones here were taken on normal mode. Can you see like the frames, they're just jumping around. I was focused on the fence where the yellow is. It was just jumping around. Now I was holding the camera very stable, but it was jumping around. Now look, in sports mode, they're hardly moving. And I shot it exactly the same way. This is how I like shooting my wildlife photography. Hope this helps you if you're using a Nikon D500 or another camera, because you can easily use those settings on any other camera.